What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, reviewing today Destiny 2. Talking about this sequel is a little bit odd, since this is of course an always online experience. Bungie officially opened up the servers earlier this week, and in that time I've already put 20 hours into the game, but some content is still locked out currently. For example, some of the final raids aren't available yet, and I'm sure we'll be getting more patches over the coming months. With the game constantly growing and changing, I just wanted to give you my early detailed thoughts on the adventure so far to help you know whether this is worth buying. As of now, I've nearly reached max level, beaten the story mode, and done about 100 matches of PvP. In that time, I've noticed that it seems like Destiny 2 is totally made for those who hated the original. That sounds crazy, I'm sure, but let me explain what I mean. In 2014, this series started off with a flawed project that had great gameplay and yet essentially no plot. We were these space wizards shooting cool guns at intergalactic demons, but literally nothing was explained. If you wanted to know what was truly going on, you'd have to visit the developer's website and read stupid little note cards that would break down who characters are and stuff. That is not at all the case anymore. In fact, I'd say that there's so much story this time, people are going to be making videos digging into the lore for years, and no, that isn't an exaggeration. Destiny 2 begins with our heroes defending themselves from what they think is another normal assault on the last city, except there's one key difference. The enemy they face isn't just a regular part of the Army of Darkness. This is Gaul, the most ruthless alien warlord ever to rule the galaxy. His troops, called the Red Legion, exist for a single mission: to claim the light of the Traveler. In case you didn't play the first game, this basically means that they would become gods and never die again. Gaul arrives and instantly wipes out all of human civilization in a matter of hours and leaves our hero for dead. Only by stumbling out of the wreckage and walking, wounded, through the forest for days do we stumble upon others who also escape the wreckage. Rather than sit around waiting for the end of the universe, it's our turn to grab some weapons, team up with friends, and fight back. There are many big changes made in this sequel, but what caught me off guard the most about Destiny 2 specifically is that it's much more world-based now. By pulling up your navigator, you can fly to any of the 4 planets at any time, and when you land, you're in the center of a huge map. Around you are quests that can be picked up that take you to different caves or ruins in the area and often reward you with interesting loot and tons of experience points. These could be tasks like hunting down robots that keep stealing equipment from the rebels, or something like breaking into a nearby factory to grab a supercomputer brain to help you with hacking. What really took me by surprise is that missions have loads of humor and personality woven into the writing now, making it where you actually want to finish them even if you don't really need the items they give. Hearing these characters interact had me seriously laughing at a few points, like when you need to save Cade 6 because he's caught in a teleportation loop, and every time he reappears he just yells out 5 words about wanting to puke before vanishing again. Thankfully, this new sense of more living design carries over to the dungeons themselves. No longer does it feel like every environment is just a random chunk of land they threw together in 20 minutes. There's a clear effort to make areas all feel massive and the things we're doing in them look epic. Taking down hordes of the Fallen is fantastic when you're deep in some haunting ancient architecture, and grabbing a tank to run over drones on your way out of an exploding base will get your heart pounding. This intense, faster pacing to events lends itself nicely to the PvP. Player versus player combat was my favorite thing about the original Destiny, and it's pretty much the same here. There are some small improvements, like the fact that people have less health, making the action quicker overall, and now flags capture almost instantly. They've also introduced all new game modes, like one where you actually have very limited lives. This makes it where each death is really painful to the entire team, so strategy is extremely important. For the most part, this is what fans already enjoyed, but just more of it. It's during these matches though that I started to notice that I didn't really care for the new upgrade system. As a Warlock, my new subclass is called the Dawnblade, a guardian whose special is drawing a flaming sword out of the air and being able to shoot fire for long distance kills. That's cool, I guess, but previously, the talent trees for classes felt better balanced. There were many choices to fit the way you wanted to play, and now it seems like there's just one obvious path that's the best talent points that you should get, and due to this, competing against other players, we all kind of behave the same. It's not a big problem, and yet it definitely makes getting upgrades less fun since I know I'm building a similar character to everybody else. However, I do want to say that I think the new magic skills are actually great. Like my hero, he's able to pick between dropping a circle on the ground that heals everyone standing inside it, or instead making a damage boosting aura. Laying one of these powerful zones down at the right moment while defending a point online or trying to outlast a wave of baddies was exceptionally cool. It's a great addition to the already stellar fighting. Speaking of customization though, let's dig into what is by far the strangest aspect in all of Destiny 2, the microtransactions. We've seen games try to sell us extra cosmetic outfits or maybe items that make leveling easier, but this vendor does something a bit more odd than that. By spending real-world cash, you can buy bright Engrams, which are used to change the special effects on gear. This allows you to alter elemental attacks or rework stuff like making it so landing headshots earns you super moves more often. Personally, I don't see this as pay to win, but it still feels incredibly dirty to sell players a way to upgrade their favorite guns, even if you can also find these Engrams naturally by playing. It just seems like a slippery slope between buying weapon perks one day and then just purchasing the guns themselves later on. On top of that, these microtransactions can also give you new emotes, shaders for your equipment, and worst of all, a vehicle. Why do I say that's the worst part? Because this is the aspect I despise more than anything in Destiny 2. No longer do you get a starting Sparrow during the main missions. The only way to get a car now is from random drops or loot crates. That's probably a small issue in the long run, since once you get one, you have it forever, but even after 20 hours, I still wasn't able to earn one, and I didn't see anyone else with one either, so I guess they're just painfully rare. While Destiny 2 is clearly a project that has some problems, I can't deny the fact that it's still an excellently badass game at its core. Sniping aliens in the new areas is solid, the story has a real weight and meaning to it, and being able to explore fresh, unknown planets is exciting. Obviously, Bungie learned from their mistakes while making the first adventure and now are giving us something worth spending hours getting lost in. Okay, so we've heard some good and some bad, but let's head over to the ratings board and put a big number on it. I am giving Destiny 2 an 8 out of 10. Before you get this game, I suggest you watch some live streams of it. This is one of those titles that intends for you to play it for months or not at all, so it's definitely something that requires a little bit of research before dropping 60 bucks. Thanks so much for watching, gamers. This has been DreamcastGuy with another review. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. I just want to make a note here at the end and say I got killed by a lot of people with terrible Naruto names. Stop calling yourself stuff like Sasuke Headshot XX. That's a trash name. Please, my god, make a real screen name. Oh, hey, I was just playing a little bit of Grand Theft Auto on my Darth Vader PSP. Are you curious what I'm going to come out with next? Well, if you click this button, you'll be subscribed to be the first to know. Also, if you click over here and here, you can see my latest review and my latest top 10. I promise, it was super good. Or it was really bad and I'm sure you can just make fun of me in the comments. Either way, it'll be a lot of fun. Thanks so much for watching.